You are listening to Peak One Sports.
All right.
Welcome to the Bungalow Fight Show. This will be the only Bungalow show of the week, man. I didn't do a sports show. I was planning on doing a hockey show this morning, but that fell through. The kid's still sick. He's at the doctor's right now with his mom, which is the only reason I got time to do this one today. So, we don't get paid for this, so I have to remember that sometimes and say it's okay not to do some shows sometimes, because I tend to stress myself out, like I gotta do this shit, but then it's just like no I don't.
Well, yeah, since you're doing 3 shows, it's pretty.
Well, yeah, and that's my own problem, but just in general, it's just like I don't have to do it, but it's like we like to do it, we enjoy doing it, we love bringing you the content, but sometimes I got to maximize my time to deal with other shit. But we are here, the Bungalow Fight Show, standing strong. The Bungalow Show of the week. And coming off a mediocre performance in our picks on the last week's card, but that's okay. But
that's my fault, man, because
it's
going like technically we probably would have been 10-0 last week, right? And then I'll be like, you know what? We're gonna go crazy. That's exactly what I did.
You can't always shoot for perfection. We had some last minute fights drop out and had to change the picks last minute, and it's okay. Let's talk about that during the Betalytics ad, because right now I'm going to remind you that Betalytics is sponsoring this show, just like always. Go to Betalytics.com, use promo code PEAK1 and get 25% off your profile there, or your package, whatever you want to call it. And they can offer you all kinds of information to make your bet smarter. And I got word through the social media that MMA is coming soon to Betalytics. So I know we always harp on the fact that they don't do MMA, and that we are your MMA pick source. That's not going to change. We will keep giving you the picks, and I guess maybe.
Okay. I think I know what's going on.
What?
The whole underdog fantasy, like there's gonna be like over unders, most strikes thrown, round props.
Yeah, it'll probably be something like that.
Yeah, it'll probably be that.
But yeah, they actually commented on one of our things, one of our picks, I think, videos or pick something. I can't remember what it was. It was last week, and they said, "Hey, MMA coming soon." So that's pretty sweet. So if you are a avid sports gambler and you want that little extra oomph, go to Betalytics.com, use promo code PEAK1, get 25% off. But our picks last week, we went 3-5, not our best week, but we didn't get shut out. Our percentage goes down to 65% from 67, so we're still in the money. 56-30 all time since starting this show. Even though it was a under 500 week for us on the picks, I will say something happened to me and Alexis that has never happened, and that is females were actually the only ones to kind of win us some money. My only winning bet of the weekend last week was a little 2-fight parlay. The two women female fights at the beginning of the card. What was it? What's her name? Adriana Mora or something?
Eduardo
Mora and Angie Overkill Hill. I did a little 2-fight parlay. And won on that, so that gave me enough money to lose on football the next day. But everything else was kind of just it was a little bit of a lackluster card, to be honest. The Brazilians did not show up for their country for the most part, and we had a lot of Brazilian picks on there.
First off, so what is it? I was on the Modestas hype train. I saw he had Artem Levin in his corner.
Right.
So I was like, oh, dude, Artem Levin is like a phenom in the kickboxing world, Muay Thai world.
Right.
So that's why I went with him. And granted, he did get flatlined. And I'm okay with losing a bet like that. But then Renat Fakardinov
Oh man.
fought and laid out freaking dude in the first round,
And then
went
couldn't
stiff
finish.
just like
Yeah.
Bukauskas. He went stiff just like Bukauskas, and they didn't call off the fight.
Couldn't finish, and they didn't call it the fight, and then he couldn't finish after that. It was just,
Yeah.
but hey, you know
And
what?
then he almost gets finished.
I know
Oh.
that was right. Yeah, at the very end of the fight, yeah, that was pretty scary. But you know, it's all right. It's all right. Can't win them all, but we're still 65%, so I'm a happy guy. Also,
didn't-
huh? What?
And the Bonfim brother losing to Dalby.
Oh yeah. Well,
Dude.
yeah. That
Okay.
that was probably like the most surprising result of that entire card was Bonfim pretty much just getting worked by Dalby. I mean, he came out, you know, hot, and Dalby weathered the storm and then just handled him for the next round and a half and finished him, man. And
Yeah.
it was so. Hats off to Dalby, dude. And I made the mistake of calling him a Brit. He is Danish. I'm not sure why I thought he was British, because I was talking about how British people can take a beating, but apparently the Danes can take a beating too. And he took a little quick beating for about 30 seconds, then fucking annihilated Bonfim with some knees and just some crazy against the cage dirty boxing, and did his thing there. This show is also brought to you by League Swipe. If you are a fantasy commissioner and you need some help, or you just want to make your life easier, go to leagueswipe.com, tell them Peak One sent you, and see if any of their tools can help you out with your fantasy league. We're also brought to you by the Peak One Sports Network merch store. Go to bonfire.com/store/Peak One Sports and pick yourself up a Bungalow Fight Show shirt. Because, you know, it's like my favorite shirt right now. I wear it all the time. I just never wear it on this show. So go there. Shank It Golf, the newest sponsor of the Peak One Sports Network. Go to shankitgolf.com. If you're a golfer and you don't like the regular old, just drab golf style, golf attire, go to Shank It Golf. They all got all kinds of cool shit. See, me in my younger years when I used to play more golf when I was younger, you know, I was the guy that, you know, if you went to a course and you're supposed to wear a polo, or like you were playing in a tournament and you had to wear a collared shirt or some shit like that, I'd say, okay, I'll wear a polo and I'll cut the sleeves off of it. I was that white guy. You know what I mean? Except it was just all it was real white trash, you know, because when you cut the sleeves off, you get the little dangly threads hanging down. You look like a real piece of shit. But you go to Shank It Golf, they'll have you looking pretty sweet, and it's just, you know, it add a little bit of flavor to your golf game, and use promo code PEAK1 and get 15% off your order there. Plenty of people who already listen to this show and other shows on this network have already, you know, they were already customers of Shank It Golf before we even got involved with them. So go check them out and get 15% off with promo code PEAK1. Fury and Ngannou, we're going to bring this back up only to talk about the pay-per-view. You know, there's really no way to know for sure what the exact pay-per-view buys are on any of these pay-per-view things, because everybody wants to make it, you know, one side always wants to make it sound better, one side wants to make it sound worse, and there's just really no way to actually figure it out. But the word around the water cooler is that this thing bombed pay-per-view wise, and I'm not surprised. Just you know, you got a lot of MMA media and things like, you know, Schaub saying, I don't believe that. It was a lot bigger than what they're saying it was. Why would you think that? Because my thing is, it's like, it's not saying that people didn't watch it, but I would venture to say that a majority of the people who watched this stole it.
Yeah.
Rather than, you know what I mean? So it's just like, nobody's... You'd have to be a dumb fuck to pay for that. We already talked about why. We talked about the production. We talked about the spectacle. We talked about everything involved in that wasn't fighting that you would have been paying for. You know what I mean? So, and nobody wanted to see any of the people only wanted to see that one fight. So, like, to not steal it, you would have been dumb. You know what I mean? And even the people who are like against stealing because like, oh, you know, I don't want to take money away from the UFC or blah, blah, blah. Nobody felt bad about taking money away from the Saudis. So even people who don't normally steal probably stole this thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
UFC pay-per-views do a lot better with the illegal streaming.
100%. And that's what I'm saying is even, like I said, this was just a steal fest. And it's not, people are coming out saying, oh, people watch this. It's like, yeah, no, people watched it, but people didn't pay for it because fuck that. And like, if you break it down, Francis, even being the heavyweight champ of the UFC when he was, and being, the attraction that he wasn't a big pay-per-view guy. If you go look at his past pay-per-views with the UFC, they weren't big. There's rarely big draws. For the longest time, John Jones wasn't even a big pay-per-view buy because he just fucking annihilated everybody. Yeah. So a lot of times when you could become a fighter who is just expected to beat the shit out of somebody, like, people don't want to pay $70 because they're just like, well, why? The fight's gonna last. It's just gonna be an annihilation, kind of, i.e. Mike Tyson towards the end of his first run, before pre-jail. Tyson, his last few pay-per-views, if you look into it, I believe, because I think I've looked into this before, it's like they weren't big sellers just because it's like, why am I going to pay this money to see him knock somebody out in 30 seconds? Like, I'll see the highlights later. And, Tyson Fury, I'm not huge on knowing the ins and outs of boxing pay-per-views, but I don't think, if your name's not Floyd Mayweather, I don't think anybody's a big pay-per-view draw in boxing anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe Canelo because of the Mexican contingent, and they're going to tune in if Canelo can fight a dead salmon, and you'll get a ton of Mexicans that buy it just to support it. But unless you have that kind of a thing going on, I don't know why people expected this to be a pay-per-view juggernaut. And then when you add the fact that it was in Saudi Arabia and just that whole side of the ick factor of like, well, I don't want to support that or whatever, people have their predispositions. Definitely not surprising to me that it bombed. Like,
yeah, I think it adds more of a good talking point. Is to be like, I don't think there's gonna be much more left. Like, they might the whole one other fight and see how that goes, and then they're just gonna be like, okay, Francis, we're good.
Well, there's two schools of thought with this, right? One is being that it's gonna be really hard for Francis to get big name opponents, right? Because it was already a freak show, right? Having to step out of mainstream. If you're an Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, like if you're a big name in the heavyweight division, we already saw how long and how drawn out and how hard it was to draw a Tyson, draw somebody out to fight Ngannou, right? It took forever to get this thing together, right? And now that it was, before, the thought process would have been, oh, well, it's going to be an easy night in the office because if you're a top end you're a high end heavyweight boxer, you're just going to go out there and school this guy, and then it's going to be a giant payday because it's going to be a huge pay-per-view draw. Now you got now everything is flipped. Now it's not an easy night in the office because obviously, whatever you think about the fight, Francis put up a better fight than anybody thought he was going to. Yeah. So it's not like it's going to be a walk in the park for anybody because he's going to hit you. You know what I mean? Or at least he's going to hang in there and take your shots, and it's not going to be just a one and done, get out of there, quick work type thing. So, that is off the table as far as like, oh, we'll just take it because it's an easy night. Not as easy as we thought it was a month ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then two, now you got to put in some work to beat this guy, and also it's going to bomb pay-per-view wise. So it's like, why? What is it? So that's the one side, is like, it's going to be hard to get anybody to fight him now. That's, a big name. The other side of it is that when you're talking about it's going to be in Saudi Arabia, it doesn't really matter because Saudi Arabia doesn't care about the pay-per-view buys. They've got more money than anybody on the planet. They're doing this as a let me show you my nuts thing. It's not a let's do this. This is a business model. Like, no, they're doing this just to show their wealth, like we talked about last time, to impress whoever. Like, they don't care about the pay-per-view buys. They don't care about that. So it's like the way that this happens again is strictly based on Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, whoever, saying, hey, Anthony Joshua, hey, Deontay Wilder, we're going to pay you this many millions of dollars just to come do this. Whether it's easy for you, whether the pay-per-view's bomb, no matter what, like, you're going to make a shitload of money either way. We just want to see this. We just want to do this. We want to be the people that put this together. Like, so that's what we're banking on now. If people want to see another big name fighter fight Ngannou in boxing. It's literally based on Saudi Arabia saying we want to see this fight, so here's all the money. That's how it happens now, because it's not a draw. It's not anybody. Anthony Joshua's team, Deontay Wilder's team, isn't chomping at the bit to sign a fight against Francis now, because it's not as easy as we thought it was, and it's not going to make any money pay-per-view wise, because like a lot of these, if you're under a rock and you don't know how fighting works, or at least boxing, you make money, and then you make money based on how well the pay-per-view does. You know what I mean? You make more money. So it's going to be based on how much Saudi Arabia is going to say, hey, we're just going to give you this bag of cash, win, lose, draw, bomb, success, doesn't matter. Like, this is, here's all the money. So, but I don't know. You got anything? You got any thoughts on that?
No, dude. It's just like it bombed. I think.
And
and everybody's saying like he's gonna get more than. Oh yeah, this is what it is. He was offered $8 million for the John Jones fight, right? And he was gonna get pay-per-view numbers with that fight.
Right.
That fight would have done so much, and he would have got paid a nice chunk.
Oh yeah.
Instead, he took a 2-year layoff, and then fought Tyson Fury, which I think he could have, in the end, up to this time, the timeline right now, and the timeline that he was going to face John Jones then, he would have made more money.
I think so. And again, this was a Francis bet on himself, which up until this point, I think everybody thinks, saying, he won because he won the bet on himself because he got the Fury fight. But like you just said, an accumulation of, he probably would have fought 3 times since he quit the UFC and got a win, a win bonus, whatever, and pay-per-view points and whatever else, 2 to 3 fights since then. Now he's got this one fight, and we're hoping another big name boxer signs up to fight him so he can do it again. But again, like I said, now that people saw how this went down with Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury's beat everybody except Anthony Joshua. So ostensibly in the world of casuals, in the world of boxing, Tyson Fury is better than all these other guys, and you saw how he did against Ngannou. Does anybody else lining up to fight Ngannou? You know what I mean? Like, you're just hoping that Deontay Wilder's like, I know that wasn't a real Tyson Fury. He didn't take this shit seriously. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't the same Fury that fought me. So if I go in there and really do take it seriously, I'm going to knock Ngannou out. Like, you're really banking on a lot of stuff to go through the mind of a professional boxer that doesn't necessarily need the money. They can go, it might be a smaller paycheck, but they can go fight a regular boxing match and still make millions of dollars. We're talking extra zeros. They're still getting zeros, whether they fight in Saudi Arabia, whether they fight in Ngannou or not. They're still getting a lot of zeros. Like, so it's just a greed thing at that point of like, how many more zeros is it worth for me to fly across the world and potentially look foolish against a guy who I should knock out? You know what I mean? Like, because that's all it is at Fury at this point, is like, you just kind of picked up an extra paycheck to kind of look like a dunce. And like, now before everybody was expecting you to beat Usyk, hands down, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, now there's a real question mark there moving into this.
That fight will do good.
It'll do good. I think it might do better now with the anticipation of Tyson Fury fell off a cliff. If that was the real Tyson Fury that fought Ngannou, and his skills and his gas tank and his everything really took a nosedive, I think the Usyk fight does better numbers because people are going to expect him to get fucked up, maybe.
Yeah, I'm in the school was like Tyson was supposed to look like that on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. Just unprepared, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, he can't. Why the fact that he now looking back on it, hindsight 2020, when he's saying like, I did 6 weeks for Deontay Wilder, I did 12 weeks for Ngannou. It's like, no, you fucking didn't. Like, why would you say that to begin with? You know what I mean? And it's just like, and I think again, like, put your tinfoil hat on. You start spreading that out there before the fight, like, I'm so prepared. I'm more prepared than I've ever been before, and then you look like that. Like, either that was on purpose or literally you fell off a cliff. You know what I mean? And
also there's no tape on Ngannou boxing,
right?
So you're going into a game plan. Say just give Tyson the benefit of the doubt here. If
Right.
either side is that there was no tape, how do you prepare for somebody who has no tape, and how do you prepare for somebody that's just going to throw windmills at you?
Right.
Um,
I don't know. Yeah.
and then he shows up and he's like, "I know how to box."
Yeah. People will just be having this same conversation endlessly until one of them fights again.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the main event from Saturday night's UFC Fight Night. We already said that the card itself was a little lackluster, and the most lackluster of them all was the main event.
Yes.
I had all my chips in the Derek Lewis knockout corner because that was, like we said, it's the only way Derek Lewis was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was going to be a little more standing going on in this fight because, like we said, Derek Lewis does get up from takedowns very well. Didn't try very hard to do that in this fight.
No.
He basically, every round started and ended exactly the same. All 5 of them was about 30 seconds of of Derek Lewis trying to wing uppercuts and then getting taken down and then just getting laid on because Almeida, once he got on top, he tried. There was a couple throughout the fight. I guess he tried some arm triangles, but none of them were really going to happen. Derek Lewis has one of those bodies where it seems pretty much impossible to choke him out with an arm triangle. You'd have to get him in like a real tight fucking guillotine or some kind of weird, just straight over the throat kind of a choke because he's just got such beefy shoulders and arms that once you get that fucking arm up there, you're kind of just squeezing on the side of his face. And that's kind of all that happened. And then Almeida barely threw any strikes from the top, even though Derek Lewis was literally just laying there. He could have just... I mean, Dominic Cruz was saying it throughout the whole fight. Is like, God, the elbows are just there. They're there. And if you don't have to knock him out. Like, if you hit him with 4 or 5 clean elbows, they're just going to stop it because Derek Lewis is just laying there. And Almeida did not do it. And before this fight, I was thinking, like, if Almeida pulls this one out, then damn, he is a legit heavyweight. But now I feel like he's less legit than he was before the fight started.
Yeah, pretty like get top control for that long in full mount.
In a 25-minute fight, he had over 20 minutes of top control. Like 22 something minutes. The previous record was like 9.
Like, what is it?
Yeah,
10 punches thrown or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like the previous like top control record was Curtis Blades at like 19 minutes something. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember a fight that was this boring. And I watched every one of Curtis Blades' fights. So whatever fight that was where he got 19 minutes of top control, it was definitely more interesting than this one.
Yeah. I think going from now, we just say Almeida needs to fight Blades.
Well, he was supposed to fight Blades here, right? And
they just rebooked the fight,
right? And so now they just need to rebook it again because Curtis Blades is gonna eat his fucking lunch, dude. Like Curtis Blades is not gonna lay on his fucking back, and they're grappling wise, they're probably pretty comparable. I mean, I don't know. At this point, I'm not even willing to say that because Derek Lewis did. There was a few times where when he actually did try to stuff the takedown, he stuffed it. Yeah. So it's just like, what was going... I mean, Derek Lewis, I guess, does have a penchant for kind of just shutting down in fights when he kind of finally... When he just... It's hard for me to say gives up, but he kind of gives up and just is content with, okay, I'm just going to fucking let this dude lay on top of me for 25 minutes and I'm going to lose. Like, but because there was no threat of a finish from Almeida, and Derek Lewis didn't really land any punches standing, but like I said, the couple times where he actually tried to stuff the takedown, he stuffed it. Yep. Or, he got an underhook and went against the fence and worked his way out, but that was probably only 2 or 3 of the takedown attempts out of the fucking, 10 or whatever there probably was during the fight. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Derek Lewis, I think he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always going to be able to knock somebody out.
Short notice fight.
Yeah, but still, dude, that's fucking crazy, man. Like, he did not
showed up just to show up. I mean,
I guess.
He's going to come back. He doesn't really lose like 3 times in a row. He'll probably... Who's he going to lose? Who are they going to put him up with next? Maybe Budai, I think. Yeah,
I mean, he's going to be one of those guys now that... I mean, he just signed a very lucrative UFC contract, so I'm sure Dana White's at home right now fucking pulling his non-hair out, just like, what the fuck, dude? We're giving this guy a bunch of money now. He's getting pulled over doing 135 in his fucking Lambo.
He's just showing up just to collect, doing bare minimum. He's just collecting his guarantee. You know what? Hats off to that.
I can
dude,
respect it in a position where he's not going to win a title. You know what I mean? And he's going to be that gatekeeper type heavyweight now, where you get the Almeidas, you get the guys that get into the top 15, and it's like, okay, if you can beat Derek Lewis, you're a top 10 guy, and he's going to knock half those guys out, and he's going to lose to half those guys. You know what I mean? So
yeah, he might be the contract negotiator, because I'm pretty sure like everyone's like, I don't think Almeida's like that good anymore.
Right.
I mean, he did. It was dominant, but like
with as dominant as it was. Like, it wasn't dominant. Like, it was such a weird fight to watch, because from the jump, it wasn't even like he got tired later and didn't do anything. He had him down for 4.5 minutes in the first round and didn't do anything. Like, didn't even attempt. Like, you could tell Dominic Cruz, like I said, with the elbow comment, but he was getting so frustrated because he's just like, why isn't he throwing any strikes? Like, Lewis is just laying there. He's literally within seconds of taking him down is allowing him to fully mount him. Not even like holding him in half guard, not even making him work to pass guard. Like, no, full mount within 45 seconds of the bell at the beginning of every round. And then Almeida, like, I can't even remember a moment where he postured up and tried, like, I'm going to posture up and pop him with a couple shots. Like, nothing.
Yeah,
he didn't do shit. Like, it was just Derek Lewis was landing more punches from the bottom at times, like in rounds, than Almeida. And Almeida could have just constantly been peppering him the whole time, which would have looked much better than what the outcome was. So, just a bad fight. Almeida lost stock. Lewis is never going to lose stock. He is what he is. We knew that he was either going to knock somebody out or it was going to be a boring decision, which is kind of his MO. We just didn't know it was going to be that boring.
New record.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. All right, some fight announcements coming up. We got the Cheeto O'Malley announcement. UFC 299, I believe. We get the rematch between these two guys. Obviously, Cheeto finished O'Malley in the first fight, but O'Malley got that weird ankle fucking numb thing like Michael Chandler had and other people had or whatever in their fight, right? When that was how that ended, right?
I think it actually broke.
Yeah, he had some weird ankle thing where he couldn't stand on his foot, and then Cheeto popped him with a couple, and then ground and pounded to a TKO.
I think Cheeto's gonna win.
I'm still in the Cheeto corner on this one.
Yeah, I mean,
although O'Malley, he has obviously shown improvement since that fight and since he came to the UFC. Obviously came in super young and he's evolved. He's shown tons of improvement, especially against a guy like Aljo against that. But I think with everything kind of swirling around this fight, and Cheeto is up there with everybody. He's just as good as all those guys at the top. And having that one win over, I don't know. It'll be an interesting fight, but I definitely think Cheeto, if he can make this a dirtier fight and doesn't let O'Malley kind of stand on the outside, I think Cheeto can take it.
Yeah, I agree. Something happened with the video right now.
You're good on my end.
Okay, it froze on my end. Okay, well, yeah, dude. I don't know. I feel like it might be. O'Malley has to be a lot more aggressive in the first round. Right. Because the longer the fight goes, I think Cheeto's gonna take over. Yeah, always,
Right, and I think that is kind of the key. Is like O'Malley's got to start this fight, stay on the outside, stay in kicking range, and just throw a bunch of shit at him and hope something lands. Because as the fight goes on, if Cheeto can make it up against the fence, keep it a little dirtier, kind of just make it more of a brawl, grapple fest, I think that definitely puts everything in Cheeto's favor.
Yep.
Another one, we got the question has been answered about the middleweight title shot. Definitely, as we suspected, not going to Hamzat, and the rightful owner of the number one contendership, DDP, Dricus du Plessis, is getting a shot against Sean Strickland. This is kind of what we just said about Cheeto and O'Malley. Is I think Dracus, the longer this fight goes, the better it is for Strickland.
Yes.
Dracus he has a lot of Tony Ferguson-esque tendencies where he's sporadic, he's awkward, he's total action-based, but he gets hit a lot. You know what I mean? And not that Strickland's going to start you, but if Strickland can push this to the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, we know Strickland has the gas tank that never ends. So, and that's been the one knock on Dracus has been, his gas tank, but his fights usually end so quickly that you really don't have to worry about it. I don't know how do you see this fight going?
I just want to say I wanted Dracus to win because of the drama with Izzy.
Right.
But like you said, I mean, this is more Strickland's fight rather than when it goes longer.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't. Strickland has, I mean, not Strickland, but Duplessis has cardio.
Right.
But he has such big movements.
That's the thing. Really big
yeah.
movements. And if Strickland stays tight with that boxing like he did with Izzy, he's just going to jab the shit out of him.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I can't wait for this fight. Right now, it's definitely too early to pick for us to pick a winner. Got to do some more thinking on this one.
I'm more excited to see how, we obviously know Strickland's good, but if he can make Duplessis look bad.
Oh, yeah.
Like save the way he made Izzy look bad.
Right.
Dude, Strickland's one of like the elite, like,
oh yeah, dude,
one ever saw coming.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And you know what? It really should shine a light to other people out there who, and this goes to like a few different type of fighters have done this across their career, right? Mm-hmm. Is guys who get beat by somebody and then go immediately and start training with them. And Sean Strickland, after he got annihilated by Alex Bahia, went and started training with him almost immediately.
Yeah.
And has shown the vast improvement just in his overall game, in my opinion. And every fight since he fought Alex Bahia has been better and better up until that crazy performance against Izzy. And I don't know what it is, but it was like, who else did that? Gustafsson did that with Phil Davis.
Yes.
Remember Phil Davis wrestled the shit out of him, and then Gustafsson went and started wrestling with Phil Davis and training with Phil Davis, and then that side of Gustafsson's game improved. You got to be a little humble sometimes and say, oh shit, that guy fucked me up. Let me go see how he did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
And Strickland has definitely, obviously, he had the tightest boxing MMA game ever against Izzy, and you would have never said that was the kind of fighter he was before that fight. You know what I mean? And that's kind of why he got knocked out so quick by Alex, is that he was wild. And he was, he was way too wild and way too looping, and Alex just fucking starched him with technical kickboxing. And Duplessis is that wild guy, you know what I mean? So if I think Strickland, although like you said, just all the drama with Izzy and everything in Duplessis, obviously there was a different narrative to if those guys fought each other, but like, and Duplessis is I guess a better character for the sport of MMA or whatever you want to call it, if you want to marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, keep fucking burping like crazy. But if Sean Strickland plays that same game he played with Izzy, I think he handily beats him. But we shall see. Yeah, we'll see. We got this. We knew this fight was going to happen. Just got moved back a little bit. Volkanovski versus Topuria. They were supposed to fight in December, but that obviously wasn't going to happen after Volk got KO'd by by the lightweight champ. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Topuria now. Yeah. Obviously Volk is completely dominant at 145. His only two losses, recently have come to Makhachev at 155. But I don't know, dude. A KO loss like that'll do something for you. And Topuria is a beast. Gates
have been open. You're right. The gates have been open. Topuria fucking swings. He doesn't swing wildly. Like, it's very, very fundamental. Few times he gets wild, but I think on par it's going to be a real dangerous fight for Volk.
It's just one of those situations now when you look at that Makhachev fight, you're kind of like, oh shit, if Makhachev can knock him out, Ilia Topuria can definitely knock him out.
Yeah.
Like that's the gate that's now been opened. It was before. It's like, well, nobody's knocking out Volk. You gotta beat him by decision. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like, no, Makhachev just knocked him out with a fucking head kick. So it's like, if Makhachev can do that, who's not necessarily a knockout artist, you know what I mean? Like, and more of a ground fighter. Like, obviously he's got better stand up than your Khabibs or your other Russian guys that are from that AKA camp of Russians. Yeah. He's probably the better of the stand up guys, but it wasn't the stand up where you thought he was going to beat him, and he knocked him out. And Topuria, that's where he's going to beat him, and I feel like he hits way harder than Makhachev.
Yeah, for sure. Regardless of what the narrative says, I'm going to stick with I'm going with Topuria.
Right.
And because getting caught up in the hype led us to our record for the last fight. So
yeah, we got caught in our own hype, dude.
Yeah. or just caught in the narrative of the UFC, like researching. I gotta stop watching tape, man.
Yeah.
On fighters, because like that sways me. Or watching the Embedded, but I love it so much. I think I'm gonna watch Embedded. I actually started the first episode of Embedded.
I just try to watch that stuff as like fiction. I love it, but it's like when it comes to the betting, like just forget all about that and just kind of. I don't know, but like I'm with you on that one. Like after that knockout and Volkanovski looks beatable now in a you just never thought of him as getting starched. You know what I mean? Like you were like, you're gonna have to fucking beat him to the fucking whistle at the end. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, now he can get knocked out. Now that's an option. It's like Tony Hawk did the 900. Nobody did it before, but then there was 14-year-olds doing it 3 weeks after he did it. So it's like, nope, somebody did it now. So it can be done. But that one's gonna happen, I believe, in late January. So we'll be looking forward to that one. All right, dude, let's get into this weekend's card, which is, I can't wait for this one.
Dude, me neither.
The light heavyweight title finally back on the line. It's been vacated by its last two champions, one of which is in this fight. Yuri Prochazka won the championship, vacated it like a real gentleman, didn't hold on to it and have all these interims and all this other bullshit. It's like he's like, I got injured. I'm staying out for a long time, so I make sure I heal up properly. He vacated it. Jamal Hill won it. He got injured. He vacated it like a gentleman. Alex Pereira, in the meantime, beat the living dog shit out of Jan Blachowicz and earned himself a title shot after losing the middleweight title to Izzy. Dude, this is going to be a great one. I got a lot to say about this main event, but we let's talk about some other fights before we get to that one, because there's a few good ones on here. Let's see. Where do you want to start? You want to go through all of them, or you got it?
Go through all of them.
All right. Kicking it off in the prelims featherweight bout. Dennis Bazooka.
Yeah, it'd be Bazooka.
Dennis Bazooka versus Jamal Emmers. Emmers, a 258 favorite coming into this one. Who you got? You got Emmers in this one?
I do have Emmers, but with the caution, like just to pick.
I mean, both guys are coming off losses.
Yeah. Emmers always loses in splits, wins splits. So it's like kind of like Emmers is going to come in and do what he does. Right. He has good wrestling. He has decent striking. But we're going to see how Bazooka goes. I mean, is he going to be able to take him down and submit him, or does he have the power to KO him?
It's crazy. And looking at their stats the UFC has here, like, I know you can't see them, but these guys are literally in the striking and grappling and everything, all these percentages, they're like within 10% of each other or less on every metric. Takedown defense, strikes landed, takedown accuracy, all this stuff. So it's very, very, very evenly matched. But Emmers, I think, is got the little bit of the, he's obviously got the UFC experience rub. Yeah. I
think almost 10 fights over.
Right.
Over like 8 fights in general. More experience, but yeah. I think Emmers is gonna get the split decision win.
Okay, I agree with you. All right, men's flyweight bout: Joshua Van, Kevin Borjas. a very rare Peruvian sighting in the UFC. Borjas is his debut in the UFC, and he's only, I mean, is he a Contender Series guy?
I'm not sure,
because his record stands at 1-0. So at least as far as this thing's concerned.
Oh
so.
yeah. Okay. So he is one of the weird Contender Series victors who won a decision and got brought on board.
I want to say I watched his Contender Series fight during a soccer practice because I recognize his face. But
you know what? Joshua Van should take him out. Joshua Van's a finisher and Contender Series alum with their first fight in, unless you're Eduardo Mora coming in 3 pounds overweight,
right,
fighting a midget. You're probably gonna lose this first fight.
Right.
So yeah, Joshua Van, I think, is gonna take him out.
I think he's the smart bet on that one.
Borges is from Canada too, so.
Catch what? Who? Joshua Van?
No, Borges. Oh, never mind.
No, he's from Peru, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, same colors though, red and white.
Yeah, I saw, my bad, dude. I'm so caught up in that Canada thing, man. I'm just like, whenever I see the flag, I'm like, there's a Canadian. I'm done.
All right, moving on to a catchweight bout, but these guys are both usually bantamweights. John Castaneda versus Kyung Ho Kang, both coming off wins. Both got similar amount of fights, 26 for Castaneda, 28 for Kang. What are you thinking in this one? Kang's a heavy. He's got 63% of his wins by submission.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kang. That's not very much of a favorite pick, but I think
well, Kang's the dog, so he's a one. I mean, it's not much, but he's a plus 120 dog, so there's a little bit of value there.
Yeah. King barely has a bunch of, like, he has some submissions, right, like you said, but he mostly goes to decision. I think John Castaneda. I think the reason why.
No. So Kang
is it a short notice fight?
Kang has 63% of his wins are by submission, only 26 by decision. So mostly submissions. Castaneda's kind of he is pretty even across the board. 30% decision, 30% sub, 40% KO. Mm-hmm. Both have about an average 12-minute fight time. So they're second round bad boys or third round bad boys.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna say I don't like the fact that he has my last name. So.
Fuck him.
Let's go, King. And that nickname, get out of here.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
But I think King is overall like better.
Yeah, I agree there, and with especially being a dog right now, that's a good value bet. All right. Prelims main fight. This is going to be a good one. Jared Gordon versus Mark Madsen. I say a good one because Jared Gordon has just, ever since the Patty fight, dude, he has just been bad luck Jared. No contest, bad decisions. I mean, just bad luck Jared. Yeah. But I think he's running into some more bad luck because I think Mark Madsen's wrestling is really going to fuck his day up.
Dude, yeah, that's all I think. Like, I'm not looking into this like as a striking match, like, because Jared Gordon does like outdo him on the striking, but
sure,
Mark like this weird like, oh no, like the blanket's coming, and then...
if you look at, I don't have the graphics here, but I was reading an article yesterday. Like, as far as all UFC fighters, I think Mark Madsen has the most one of the most decorated wrestlers in all of the UFC. Like, when you see his accolades and awards he's gotten for wrestling, his last fight, he is coming off a loss, but it was his first loss. He's 12-1. Like I said, Gordon's coming off a no contest, and he's coming off that shit Paddy Pimblett decision. Mm-hmm. And his wrestling is nowhere near Mark Madsen. And right now, Mark Madsen is a plus 164 dog. So hammer that shit, because hammer that shit, and hammers goes the distance. And I think you're going to make some money on this one, or at least hit the over or something, because I think it's going to be a long grapple fest. And Mark Madsen, like you said, he's getting the blanket out. Yeah. And Jared Gordon's going to try to strike, and Mark Madsen's going to take him down. And it may not be as pathetic as Derek Lewis, but Jared Gordon's about to get laid on.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we expect it, right? It's something like, where you're like, you didn't expect it for last week, but I just want to say, like, Mark Madsen is almost like similar with like Bo Nickel, but Mark Madsen's fighting some people.
Yeah,
like he's fighting some people that have names and
right.
that are powerful.
Right. We haven't seen Bo Nickel get to the level of competition that Mark Madsen's fought and basically annihilated, other than his last fight.
And Bo Nichols is like negative 1,000, maybe 2,000,
which is crazy. So yeah,
right? He fought a paper. Like, come on, dude. Like,
right. So
Mark Madsen his due.
At a plus 164 dog, bet on Mark Madsen right now.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the main card, lightweight bout, Nazim Sajikov versus Vishlav Borshev. As a hockey fan, I should be better at saying these freaking Russian names, dude. But I just when the lights are on and the camera light is green, I get nervous, dude. And it is hockey season, so I've been seeing and hearing the pronunciation of a lot of Eastern Bloc names lately, just from watching hockey, and hopefully I'll get better. But couple. Whoa, what's up?
I just wanted to tell you something.
Well, go ahead.
Mom's gonna go give blood.
She's gonna go give blood. Okay.
Oh, and my lungs are clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, I'll be done in a second.
Okay. Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Tell your viewers I said hi.
Andy says hi, viewers.
Oh.
his lungs are clear. All right. Yeah. So a couple of Eastern Bloc bad boys, Azerbaijan versus Russia. What do you think? We got, and they're both a couple of KO finishers. This ain't gonna be a wrestle fest.
So I know Slava Claus is that Team Alpha Male. I mean, they got his wrestling defense should be good, but I think Sadikov is Sambo background, and his wrestling is gonna.
I mean, it's almost a pick 'em, but Borishev's a plus 114 to a minus 135 for Sajikov. But this is gonna be a slugfest, I believe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nazim. For the win. I mean, he's on my list,
right,
as well. So, yeah, dude. I still, it doesn't sit right with me with the Borshev not handling DeCasey like the way DeCasey handled Borshev,
right?
And I think Sadikov does have that in his back pocket, and so.
Yep, I agree. I think Sajikov's got the edge here in this one. All right. Moving on, lightweight bout, Mateus Rebecki versus a guy who's won us some money, Roosevelt Roberts.
Yeah.
Well, they're not. UFC's not bringing up the stats on these guys, but Roosevelt Roberts is a plus 154 dog against Rebecki. What do you think about this one?
Dude, Rebecki's gonna eat this dude's lunch.
I think so too.
But Roosevelt Roberts is he's from the Conor McGregor tough.
He's been on twice. He was just on the comeback one too.
Comeback one. This is not a good fight for Roberts.
No, obviously when he had a fight since the comeback, and we did put him. We either put him in a parlay, and he won it. But yeah, Rebecki's just gonna just annihilate him, I think.
Yeah. Rebecki's gonna eat his lunch, collect this $5,000 pay thing, and then go back to Russia.
Yeah. No, Rebecki is from Poland, dude. God, come on, dude. Come on. But yeah,
everybody's gonna get on me now.
I think I'm surprised Rebecki. He's a minus 185. I'm surprised it's not bigger than that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if Roberts has good striking, but like, dude, this guy
not good enough. I don't think.
Yeah. This guy has accolades. Like he has what is it, grappling tournaments, like he's a regional championship title holder in the Poland league, and yeah, dude, I don't understand.
All
I
right.
don't
Moving on,
Rebecca
Rebecca for sure on that one. That one, first, I don't know, for maybe not for the odds guys, but for me, that's a no-brainer. Women's strawweight, Tabitha Ricci going up against our girl Lupi Godinez. God, she fights a lot, dude. Lupi Godinez.
Yeah, dude.
She does, and she wins a lot. And this is what do we got? What are our rankings here? Tabitha Ricci number 10. Lupi number 13. This is Lupi's chance to get into the top 10 in the strawweight division. Both are coming off wins. I don't know, man. This again, even last weekend excluding.
Yeah,
We're not good at picking these fights, but I can't go against my girl Lupi. She just seems like she is on her way up, dude.
yeah. So everyone's on Richie. Richie's really powerful. She has what we've seen, good top control, but she gets wild.
Right.
She has a couple submissions, but overall, we talk about fundamental wise, Lupi's the one that has a fundamental.
Lupi is like, what are the old saying? Solid as Sears. She is like, she fundamentally, tactically, like, and she doesn't like divert from her game plan when shit starts to get haywire. You know what I mean? Like, she's very good at kind of composing herself, I guess would be the correct term. Where like shit starts to get crazy, shit turns into a dogfight, people are slugging, rock'em sock'em. You know, she always kind of pulls herself back into that solid game plan. And I feel like Ricci might be the opposite of that, where maybe she does get, like you said, she gets a little wild, gets a little crazy. But I got to go Godinez. Just my heart and soul. She's been solid on our picks for us ever since we've been picking her.
Godinez's only lost fight like that we've seen recently was to Angela Hill, and Angela Hill's a monster.
And Angela Hill just won us some money this last weekend, so I mean, you can't hold that against her. But take our word with a grain of salt with our track record on these females. But hopefully we continue our female friendly betting ways into this weekend. And
should we like do WMMA bets and then
we need to just do like a separate. I think we talked about that last week. Just like keep separate stats for our women's bets. Oh shit!
I'll put it on the side. We'll see how that goes. So I'll start tracking on the side.
I take that back. That Madsen Gordon was the early prelims main fight. The main fight on the prelims is Steve Erceg versus Alessandro Costa, flyweight bout. This is on ESPN News Network, so I guess it's on. I guess that's network TV. Steve Erceg. He's just got such a weird body. It's hard for me to think that he's gonna win. But I mean, the guy's kind of on a tear. And it is flyweight, so they're little guys.
I'm gonna go with the Aussie here, man.
Whoa, there's like a weird thumping going on. It's like. Sounds like a helicopter's over your house. Nope, it came back as soon as you plugged it in. What the? Nope. Now it's like. Okay. Nope. Sounds like somebody's letting the air out of a balloon. That is bizarre. I've never heard that noise before. Oh, I can't even hear your voice anymore. It's just. Oh. Just do it through the camera audio.
Did that work?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Crisis averted.
Yeah. So the Aussie for sure.
Yeah, Steve Erceg definitely over Costa, I think, in this one. I mean, both guys are coming off wins. They don't have the... Oh, it's back. The helicopter's back.
All right, we'll just do that.
Yeah, just do that. That's fine. We're almost done. Always something at the end of these shows. Huh?
Hold on, let me grab headphones real quick.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know why I was like, okay, there we go.
Yeah, but I think they don't have the odds up here on UFC for these guys, but I'd imagine Erceg's the favorite, and I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to unpack on that one. I'm not picking anything on this fight, so this should be a good one just to watch.
Yep, just watch it. All right, moving on to the main card in featherweight division. Our Brazilian emo bad boy Diego Lopez. My Chemical Lopez against Pat Sabatini. Both guys coming off wins. Sabatini's a slight favorite, minus 120. But I think I've got Diego Lopez all day in this one.
Yeah, me too. I immediately saw his face. I was like, oh, dude, fuck yeah.
Always.
Everyone's going to hate this guy. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Just his ground game, so good. So
yeah, I think Diego Lopez by sub might be not a bad prop either. I don't know anything else you want to say about that one. I think it's pretty clear cut.
Not really. Yeah, it's a one-sided bias for us. Diego Lopez all the way.
Heck yeah, dude. And then this one might be one of my most favorite fights because I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
The Steamroller, Matt Frivola versus Benoit Saint Denis. And although Saint Denis, has been doing his thing and is a minus 230 favorite, the Steamroller in his backyard in MSG, just been steamrolling everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going for Vola on this one, especially with the odds, with the betting odds, him being a dog. I don't know. Yeah, I think Matt Frivola for sure.
Yeah, he's my pick as well. I'm kind of sad to see Saint Denis as a favorite now because he's won us money when he was an underdog.
Yeah, you're right. But we have a chance to win some money on Frivola as a dog here because I just think Frivola's gonna win. The guy, he's so unassuming, it seems like, and he's got a weird name, and then he goes out there and he does what his nickname says. He steamrolls people. But I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if Saint Denis pulls it out. Obviously, the guy's 12-1 and definitely been winning us money as a dog. But this might be his UFC debut as a favorite, and that doesn't. I don't know if that bodes well.
I would say this, I know for sure Matt's going to win the first 2 rounds. I just hope if it does go to a 3rd round, I hope he stays composed and hasn't emptied the gas tank enough to where Saint Denis can get a finish.
Well,
if it does happen, that's what's going to happen.
So that being said, my pick in my heart is with Matt Frivola, but this fight also might be Hedge City on Benoit, because I wouldn't be surprised if Benoit pulls it out, especially in the fashion that you just said, where he kind of outlasts Frivola's ferocity at the beginning of the fight. So
my head just did bad last card. I think I'm gonna do what do you call the progressive routes, where you do whatever, like your 2 fight parlays or 3 fight parlays,
right,
and you exclude one, and then you do one with the added,
right,
and not hedge, because
that's
I got fucked with hedges last week.
back in the day when I used to win a decent amount of money, that's what I used to do, and then I stopped and just started betting stupidly. But either way, your money's good on either of these guys. It's just obviously the value's in Frivola, him being a dog. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure Frivola, Benoit St. Denis gets hit, man, when it comes with the strikers,
right,
and powerful strikers. It's not like he's like clean and has good movement. Like he'll like just like muscle his way through and then take you down and submit you or TKO you. So Frivola has a good chance for a KO here.
Yeah,
so,
if you're gonna go KO early KO.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Women's strawweight bout: Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. I mean, these women's fights, especially when they get to the point where you're at the top of the divisions, they're so hard. They're so hard to make a choice here, you know?
Yeah.
Mackenzie Dern, I mean, Jessica Andrade seems like she just might be on the downside of her career. And Mackenzie Dern is obviously still climbing up that hill. I'm going to go Mackenzie Dern by sub in this one, I think is probably what my bet will be.
I think so as well, dude. And plus, she has to make alimony payments, so she's in a.
She does. She is the rare female who pays alimony. To her former husband. But hey, Jessica Andrade's former girlfriend is the one who forced her into doing that OnlyFans, so she's got some relationship drama too, dude. But yeah, like I said, Jessica Andrade just, again, I feel like she, obviously former champ, but kind of think on the back end of her career, and is going to go out there and try to knock off Dern's head, and when that doesn't happen, Mackenzie's going to force her to the ground, going to tap her out most likely.
Yeah, I think Dern has more power than Andrade.
Oddly enough, I tend to agree with you there, even though Jessica Andrade is known as just kind of like the powerhouse type fighter.
Yeah.
I think Dern is she's taller, but only slightly bigger in the reach advantage, but just power wise, when she does connect, it's usually pretty significant. But either way, I don't think she's knocking her out. She may clip her and then take her down and sub her, because we know Dern is a jiu-jitsu wizard or witch. I don't know what he can't. We call people
jiu-jitsu witch.
She's a jiu-jitsu witch.
There's a shirt.
You're right, because we always call people jiu-jitsu wizards.
Yeah.
Mat wizards, submission wizards, but we're talking about a female, and a female wizard is a witch.
Yes.
Jiu-jitsu witch. All right. Look for that shirt in the Peak One Sports store. Jiu-jitsu witch. All right. That'll be our first female clothing line. Yeah. In the store. All right. Co-main event. This is a big one. This is
yes.
This was supposed to be John Jones and Stipe, but instead for the heavyweight interim title, which I believe it should be for the real title. But
eventually it will be.
Of course.
Once John Jones retires,
of course,
they're not gonna be like, here's the next title contention. They're just gonna be like, interim title holder becomes.
Of course, John Jones isn't a gentleman like the guy in the main event and can't just relinquish his title because he got hurt. He hurted his shoulder. But we got a heavyweight interim title bout between Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall. I mean, for everybody not named John Jones, these are the top two guys right here. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yes.
all things being equal, one of these guys should have got the shot instead of Stipe. Stipe just, he's got the legacy and all that stuff, and that's why he got the fight. John Jones wants to fight the, historic heavyweight and before he retires and all that. So we understood why Stipe got the shot, but linearly, these are the guys who should have been in line, and now they're fighting each other, man. And this is an exciting heavyweight fight right here.
Yes.
And although Pavlovich is just a beast and just completely starches people, I think Tom Aspinall's got enough technical stand-up to avoid some big-ass shots and take him to the ground and sub him.
Yeah. I originally was going for Pavlovich. But then I forgot how big Tom Aspinall is.
Right.
And, like, the movement he has.
Right.
Basically, him and Cyril Gane are kind of similar. Just Tom Aspinall has the ground game.
Right. I agree there. And like you said, like, Tom Aspinall, I mean, Sergey Pavlovich is a big, giant man, but Tom Aspinall's 6'5". You know what I mean? Leg reach is about the same. Pavlovich has a pretty significant 6-inch reach in the arms, but like I said, Tom Aspinall, although he is a ground fighter, he's a submission guy. Like, he's got clean boxing, you know what I mean? And I feel like he is fast. He's definitely got the speed advantage to avoid those Pavlovich bombs in the first round. And I think if he can, first round to fifth, if he gets Pavlovich to the ground, it's dangerous for Sergey.
Yeah, I agree that way too. I mean, I think Aspinall was outreached by Taipuru,
Right.
I think, last fight, and Tom Aspinall won.
Yeah.
So, dude, look at Tom. I think Tom Aspinall is going to be the new heavyweight champ, dude.
I think so too.
He's going to be that way for a long time, and maybe it's going to be up to John Jones. Like, I think Sergey Pavlovich is a better fight for John Jones, which I did want to see, but he's probably going to retire. But if John Jones decides not to
Jones
retire,
isn't going to out-grapple Tom Aspinall. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, so that was going to be a real test for John. And if Tom wins this fight, I don't know. Maybe, like you said, John Jones just straight up just retires.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And just leaves it in the dust because it's looking like Stipe might fucking retire before they even fight again. You know what I mean? Like, Stipe's not young. He's not winning a John Jones fight. He's not winning a Pavlovich fight. He's not winning an Aspinall fight. Stipe's just coming back to lose.
yes,
No matter who he fights. So if I was Stipe, obviously as a fighter, you always think you're going to beat everybody and blah, 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 blah. But it's like Stipe should just ride off into the sunset. John Jones obviously has some healing to do. But if Pavlovich wins, I could see John Jones beating Pavlovich. But I definitely... Tom Aspinall is a tough fight for John Jones, dude.
yeah.
And I think Tom Aspinall wins this, so...
Yeah. So Tom Aspinall for sub against Sergey Pavlovich.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the safe money right there. What are the odds between... They don't have the odds on here.
They don't have... So I think Aspinall is a slight favorite. This is a pretty close fight because I think he was a dog, and I think he's 105 right now. I'm just going off the top of my head right now, but there's no submission props yet.
Right, nothing's up yet. All right, well, keep an eye on those, but I think Tom Aspinall is where your money should be at. All right, dude, the freaking main event, dude, and this is an exciting one. This is going to be a great fight. I'm not sure what Alexis's thoughts on this one are, but I have some very specific thoughts on this one. Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka for the light heavyweight title. Obviously, we talked about it. Yuri never lost. He won the title, never lost it, gave it up because he's a goddamn gentleman, because he was injured. Very close fight. We got a plus 130 or plus 110 dog for Yuri, minus 130 favorite for Alex. And I see Alex Pereira winning this fight big time. I feel like Yuri is wild enough, crazy enough, kind of what we were saying about what I said about Drakus. He's got that Tony Ferguson just weird style.
Yeah.
Just make it a crazy fight, but he gets hit. He's obviously got a chin because he's got clipped by some heavy-handed dudes. But we have seen Alex Pereira just sleep some people, and with the power that Pereira has, he also might be the most technical kickboxer in the entire UFC. And being a crazy wild card type fighter like Yuri, that technical technical kickboxing of Alex, it almost beats everybody. At this point, I don't see a lot of people beating him. Like, if you're talking about straight stand-up, Yuri obviously has a great ground game, but you also have to remember, even though we haven't seen him fight on the ground because he's been fighting stand-up fighters, Alex has been training with Glover Teixeira nonstop for a fucking decade. So, he can fight on the ground. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
What do you think about this one? Like, I want to feel like it's going to be a lot closer.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, and that was like my whole spiel coming into like this fight is that Fundamentals is going to win this.
Right? I just
go and like so. Prohaska's power shot is his left hook. Pereira's power shot is his left hook.
Right.
So they're both kind of right.
This is
here's the thing.
If you ever watch a hockey fight where two left-handed guys fight each other, it's almost like a double fucking knockout, dude, because they just fucking it's just like, and Pereira wins that contest. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he wins that all day. But when you notice, because like, and you said Yuri's wild. Yuri is wild, and he sets up his uppercut shot after the left hook. So when he throws a left, his right hand drops.
Right.
Leaving his head fully exposed, and Mr. Fundamentals over here on the other side.
He's going to kick his face off.
Kick his face off, punch him,
or
whatever.
those